4-inch-long weaver ants have to make their nests themselves. They build them out of leaves. They turn the leaves into green chambers with floors, walls, and ceilings. The way they do it is with glue. First, some of the ants turn themselves into living safety pins, pulling the leaves together and holding them there. That's one team. Next come the weavers. They pick up larvae, their yet unformed little sisters, take them to the seams and use them like living shuttles, tiny glue guns. They stimulate them to secrete threads of sticky, web-like silk that holds the leaves together. Without any apparent supervision, the ants know exactly where to clamp the leaves and where to apply the silk. There are 500,000 ants in the colony, but they behave as though they were all part of a single mind, each one doing what's needed in the right way to build a complex of chambers and corridors out of living leaves. What kind of animals are these? What kind of intelligence? What is an ant? It's an insect, a social insect in the same group as the bees and wasps. A human weighs about 10 million times more than an individual ant. But since ants far outnumber people, all the ants in the world weigh about as much as all the people. But while there's only one species of human, there are thousands of different species of ant. Each one is a finely tuned specialist, exquisitely adapted to its own particular environmental niche. But all species of ant have the same basic body design. It's the best one for their miniature world, but it's a design that has kept them small. As insects, they have 6 legs and 3 body segments: head, thorax, and abdomen. And like all insects, ants wear their skeletons on the outside. This exoskeleton is a hard, waterproof armor that supports and protects. Ants breathe through their sides, through valves called spiracles. When they open, air rushes in, circulates through a network of tubes, and then rushes out again. Every cell gets its oxygen delivered direct. That's the internal air conditioning system. Ants also have a disinfecting system, a pair of metapleural glands that ooze antibiotic and keep both ant and colony free of germs. Only ants have this. Ants, in fact, are little chemical factories. A whole battery of glands produce chemical signals or pheromones that are the commands in ant communication. Ants send messages by laying a trail of these chemicals. And other ants pick them up with their antennae, which are covered in tiny sensory organs capable of reading the complex chemical messages. Then there are the eyes. They are made up of hundreds of small lenses that produce a mosaic image of the world. An ant's jaws or mandibles are its main tools. Molded from the hard exoskeleton, they come in every shape imaginable. Their size and design can tell us a lot about an ant's lifestyle. Mandibles are as important to an ant as our hands are to us. Depending on the species, they can serve as anything from scissors to forklifts to pliers. Really appreciating the variety among ants means looking at them close up. Professor Edward Wilson of Harvard University has been looking at ants for most of his life.
It's easy to think that all ants look alike. I mean, after all, we're looking at them from way up here, way down there, you know, like Godzilla looking at the inhabitants of New York City. But in fact, these little creatures are strikingly different from one another, one species to the next. One ant is typically as different from another kind of ant as a wolf is from a tiger or even a rhinoceros.
About 10,000 species of ants are known to science, and there are probably 10,000 more waiting to be discovered. The largest and most abundant group is the Pheidole ants. For the past 10 years, Professor Wilson has been studying, drawing, and describing the 625 species that make up this group. Over half are new species, and he is the first person to really see them in detail. Among them, he has discovered ants with weird and wonderful adaptations.
Let me give you an example. Two of the species that I'm describing right now have anatomical features which are just amazing. This is a species which has count them, five horns on the front of the head. It uses, I guess, as a battering device. It has two horns sticking out here, two horns sticking out there, and then a horn sticking like a nose out the middle. This was so unusual that I named it Pheidole mirabilis, the miracle Pheidole. Maybe I got carried away a bit with that, but I thought it was truly a wonderful one. Here's another one. This species has a plate-shaped head. I mean, just totally different from this other one. It has big bristles all around the head, but also conspicuously sticking out from around the mouth like a mustache. This one I decided to name Pheidole mistax. Mistax means mustache, a mustache Pheidole.
Get close enough to ants and they might almost be from another planet. They have evolved shapes and structures beyond human imagining. The one thing all ants have in common is society. These are wood ants. They're foragers, predators that go out, find food, and bring it back to the nest. Even though each ant is strong, capable of carrying twice her own body weight, a lot of the prey is just too big for one ant. In which case, there's teamwork. It's not size, it's not speed, it's not even strength that makes ants what they are. It's this, the teamwork. Hundreds of thousands of cooperating insects spreading through the woodland like a huge digestive tract, pulling anything edible towards the gut of their nest. The nurse workers inside the nest don't go out to hunt for food. They stay in the darkness underground. Ants cannot eat solids. These foragers feed on the body fluids of their prey. Each takes what food it needs for itself. The rest is stored in a part of its gut called the social stomach. This food is for sharing. It is fed to the nurse workers, and it's done with a sort of a kiss. The ants lock jaws, and liquid is passed drop by drop from the feeder ant into the mouth of her hungry sister. One of the strengths of an ant colony is the individual ant's dispensability. Killing a colony by killing the workers is all but impossible. But one ant in the colony is absolutely vital, the queen. By using the sperm she stored when she mated, she's the mother of everyone, and everyone's future. An ant manufacturing machine at the head of a conveyor belt of eggs. Eggs are cared for by the nurse workers,